You might know someone who looks rich. Nice car, designer clothes, expensive dinners, photos from luxury hotels. From the outside, it looks like they've figured life out. But here's a strange reality. The person driving that luxury car might have less than a few $100s in their bank account. The coworker showing off a designer bag might be carrying more credit card debt than savings. And the influencer posting videos from expensive restaurants might be 3 months behind on rent. That sounds extreme, but the numbers tell a very uncomfortable story. In the United States alone, credit card debt has passed $1.2 trillion. Nearly half of people with credit cards carry a balance month after month, paying interest just to maintain the lifestyle they present to others. At the same time, luxury car sales continue rising. Designer brand revenues keep increasing. Social media is flooded with images of wealth. Something doesn't add up. How can so many people appear wealthy while simultaneously drowning in debt? The answer is simple. Many people have learned how to look rich without actually being rich. They've mastered the performance of wealth. But the performance has a cost, and over time that cost quietly destroys the ability to build real financial security. The difference between fake wealth and real wealth is subtle, but once you understand it, you start noticing it everywhere. Real wealth is quiet. Fake wealth is loud. Real wealth builds options. Fake wealth builds pressure. Real wealth grows slowly over time. Fake wealth tries to appear overnight. One of the most common signs of fake wealth is what could be called the status trap. Someone buys the cheapest version of the most expensive brand, the entry-level luxury car, the logo belt, the starter designer bag. The goal isn't the product itself. The goal is the logo. It's the signal. If you walk through almost any parking lot, you'll see it. A luxury car with the smallest engine option, no upgrades, basic interior, but it still has the badge on the front. That badge is doing all the work. What's interesting is that a fully loaded Toyota or Honda often costs roughly the same as a base model luxury car, but the Toyota might have better features, better reliability, lower maintenance costs, lower insurance, better long-term value. But the person chasing status doesn't want the Toyota. They want people to see the brand, and that decision creates a hidden financial burden. Luxury cars come with luxury maintenance costs, premium fuel, higher insurance, more expensive repairs. Over the years, that difference quietly drains tens of thousands of dollars. Meanwhile, many people who are genuinely wealthy drive relatively ordinary cars, not because they can't afford something flashier, but because their priority isn't appearance. Their priority is freedom. Another interesting pattern appears in conversations about money. People pretending to be rich often talk about money constantly. Every conversation somehow circles back to income, deals, or investments. You mention dinner. They talk about a business opportunity. You mention a vacation. They explain their investment strategy. You share a small success. They quickly pivot to something bigger they've done. This isn't confidence, it's validation seeking. People who are genuinely secure financially rarely feel the need to constantly prove it. But people trying to maintain the image of wealth often feel the opposite pressure. They need the story to keep being told. Another pattern appears in how these conversations are framed. The money being discussed is almost always in the future. I have a deal closing soon. This investment is going to explode. Next year, everything changes. Notice the pattern. The success is always just around the corner, because projected success is easier to talk about than actual results. There's also another subtle sign: confusing revenue with profit. Someone might say their business generates hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. That sounds impressive, but revenue isn't income. After expenses, taxes, and costs, the actual take-home amount might be far smaller. Still respectable, but not nearly as impressive as the story being told. And exaggeration often reveals insecurity. People who are comfortable financially rarely need to inflate their numbers. They don't need to impress strangers because they already feel secure. Another clear sign of fake wealth is buying luxury items before building financial stability. A designer bag that costs more than someone's savings account. A luxury watch purchased on credit. An expensive purchase that represents months of income. There's an old financial rule: if you can't buy something twice without stress, you probably can't afford it. But fake wealth ignores that rule. Because the purchase isn't about the object, it's about the image. It's about what other people will think. The problem is that image can be incredibly expensive to maintain. Some people finance designer purchases. They make monthly payments on watches. They carry interest on luxury items. The object slowly loses value, but the debt remains. By the time it's paid off, the buyer may have spent far more than the original price. Meanwhile, someone focused on building wealth might make very different decisions. They build savings first. They invest consistently. They prioritize financial stability before lifestyle upgrades. And this creates a powerful difference over time, because wealth is less about income than behavior. Two people can earn the same salary and end up in completely different financial situations. One spends aggressively to signal success. The other builds quietly in the background. 10 years later, the difference can be enormous. One person looks rich. The other actually is rich. Social media has made this difference even more dramatic. Online platforms reward appearance. Luxury content gets attention. Expensive purchases generate views. Videos of shopping sprees perform better than videos about budgeting. Posts showing expensive dinners get more engagement than posts about saving money. So the internet creates a powerful incentive. Perform wealth, even if it isn't real. People learn that projecting success attracts attention, and attention can feel rewarding. But attention is not the same as financial stability. In many cases, the more someone tries to appear wealthy online, the less secure their financial situation actually is. Because maintaining that image becomes expensive. Every month requires new content, new purchases, new experiences, and the pressure to keep up can become overwhelming. Meanwhile, many genuinely wealthy people maintain a very low profile. They don't need to broadcast their finances. They don't need validation from strangers. Their wealth exists whether anyone sees it or not. And that difference reveals one of the most important truths about money. Fake wealth focuses on perception. Real wealth focuses on freedom. Freedom to choose where you work. Freedom to handle emergencies. Freedom to take risks. Freedom to say no. That freedom comes from savings, investments, and time. Not from logos, not from appearances. Not from trying to impress people who don't actually matter. The irony is that fake wealth often delays real wealth, because the money being spent on maintaining the appearance of success is money that could have been invested. Every luxury purchase made too early in life carries an opportunity cost. That money could have been growing, compounding, building options for the future. Instead, it's spent maintaining an image. And images disappear quickly. But investments compound for decades. Real wealth isn't built through dramatic moments. It's built through consistent decisions over long periods of time. Saving regularly, investing steadily, avoiding unnecessary lifestyle inflation, making purchases based on personal value instead of external validation. Those habits might not look exciting, they rarely go viral on social media, but over time they create something far more powerful than appearance. They create stability, and stability eventually creates freedom. The difference between fake wealth and real wealth often comes down to one simple question. Are you optimizing your financial decisions for how they look to other people, or for how they actually improve your life? If the goal is to impress strangers, the path often leads to debt and stress. If the goal is financial independence, the path usually looks quieter, slower, less flashy, but far more effective. Because the goal isn't to look rich, the goal is to actually be rich. And those two goals require completely different decisions. One builds an image, the other builds a future. And one day, the difference becomes impossible to hide.